Alright, so this is DC We the People News. Okay, I'm not an attorney nor care to be an attorney, alright? I don't want to be balled and chained to the bar union, to the judges or anything. Okay, and play kissy face with them. So I'm not going to give legal advice, people. I may give my opinion only, but not legal advice. This video is going to be more along the lines of a learning video. Why? Because we need to know. That's why. Alright? Never look straight forward. I always look around me to be able to protect myself by any means necessary. Now, that being said, people, the number one issue we have than anything else is a violation of our due process. It don't matter if you believe in the straw man, contract law. It don't matter if you believe in legalese or lawfulese. Alright? It don't matter about any of all that. The one thing they all have in common is the two simple words. Due process. And the main corporate violation thereof. Okay? For your auditors out there, there is no reason why in the world or anybody else to be arrested and go directly to jail. That is a violation of due process. That officer has no legal or lawful authority to make any legal determination. Okay? Probable cause? Maybe. The officer can, well, we've got probable cause, but we must go see the magistrate and be sure that the judge gives the legal or lawful determination of the probable cause. Before anything else, there must be a warrant, even for that arrest. So that's another violation of due process. Now, they make all these bypass laws to bypass the Constitution and the state constitution, people. Okay? And that is our number one issue right there. These codes and statutes and all that kind of stuff, they're still bound and beneath the Constitution. But because we've been so dumbed down and the attorneys don't care and the judges don't care, it's just a conveyor belt. It makes it easier on everybody in the system itself against you. Okay? Remember, when you're in court, everything is a conflict of interest against you. Any type of paperwork is conflict against you. Oh, I'm going to give you an order to sign this piece of paper. No, that piece of paper is conflict of interest against me. Hell no, I'm not going to sign that. Well, you must sign this ticket. Nope, that ticket's conflict of interest against me. Okay? The Fifth Amendment says you shall not incriminate yourself. But anytime you sign anything whatsoever is in fact a crimination. Alright? That ticket, you giving that officer your name, your address, your date of birth, opened a case against you, which therefore is conflict of interest against you, and thereof you waived your Fifth Amendment not to incriminate yourself. Now, that being said, we all been trained that we must give our driver's license, insurance, registration to prove our innocence. But it has the codes and statutes beneath the Constitution, state or federal. Alright, well, you want this information, y'all? Get a freaking warrant. That is a due process. And it must have all 5 elements for you to be able to get this information to me, from me. Alright? We have a right to person effects. Okay? Just saying. Quit following some of these things. That's not true and correct. Alright? And it's a booger. They don't like people outside the fence running around, jumping around, and having fun, while all the other sheep are stuck inside the pen where there's very little grass. All right, they much prefer you inside the fence, all bounded up. All right, let's go ahead and proceed forward on this. I spent a little too much time on that.
You answered so many prayers in my life, and here you're allowing me to sit behind bars? For what? Whom have I injured? But what laws have I broken? None. There's a trust account sitting there that they can milk dry when we're confined. There's profits in criminally prosecuting innocent conduct, and I've been a target of that. In 2011, in the county I live in, which is just south of Tarrant County, down in Johnson County, one of the most corrupt counties, I believe, in all of Texas. Of course, if anybody would say that about the county that they live in, because they're very well aware of their own corruption. Johnson County has a thicket, a nest of Satanists and Mason cult members, and they have no problem harming Christian people, godly people. My father died while confined in 2011. He died, pretrial detention, 3 weeks of medical neglect. He died of pneumonia. Never got a trial. He died an innocent man. The original charge, it was actually a breach of probation. The original charge was traffic-related, no injured party. So he died an innocent man. Well, I was raised by my single father, and I wanted restitution for the injuries. If you kill my dad, you're going to have to answer for it, right? So I sued in federal court the sheriff, the county, and the jail management company. And before I did, I had under the Texas Tort Claims Act, you have to send out a notice letter within 6 months of when the injury happens. Oh, by the way, you have to send this letter to the county. It's important under the Texas Tort Claims Act, Chapter 101 of Civil Practices and Remedies Code. Oh, by the way, it's called a preservation letter. It would say something like this. I am considering a lawsuit because you have injured my father. He died in jail for medical neglect. I'm considering a lawsuit. Therefore, I want you to preserve all records, documents, emails, memos, blah, 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 related to this person's name and this event that happened that was related to his death. So I sent out that preservation letter, which perfects it later on, but you have to lay the groundwork first by doing what you need to do. Before you can take it into federal court, you have to put them on notice. Then, at the time, I knew nothing about lawsuits. I was a good, dumb slave, like many of us are. We follow what we're told all of our life without even asking questions. So I went and got an attorney. It took me 2 years to find one that even wanted to deal with the wrongful jail death case. Attorneys don't want it. They don't care. The confined are like refuse to them. They don't have rights. They don't have liberty. It's just outrageous that it happens. So within the 2-year statute of limitations, I had found an attorney, filed in federal court. I already had gained a lot of documents to open records requests. I had a case ready to go. And we had a lot of facts, enough to put a very strong pleading together. And in federal court, it's all about the pleadings. You got to weave through the tight congestion of roadblocks that would make a federal judge want to throw it out. Well, the pleadings were really strong because of the open records request that we got. My father begged for it, like he was 69 years old when he died. Couldn't get a blanket. Sick with high fever. Couldn't even get Tylenol or ibuprofen to keep his fever in check. He basically died of brain damage because the fever just went unchecked. It turned into septic pneumonia and intoxicated every cell in his body and all his organs shut down. It's horrible. But we prevailed against their motion to dismiss because the first thing that they're going to do on the other side, you have to know what's coming at you when you sue a federal court, is going to be that motion to dismiss and the claim of immunity, governmental immunity, sovereign immunity, 11th Amendment immunity, and any other kind of foolishness that they can manufacture. So you have to have your pleading so tight and so succinct. And then those motions to dismiss come, and then you have to go back and you have to stand on your pleadings again, and you say, based on what I pled in this document, they don't have immunity. Because you don't have immunities. I don't care if you're a judge, a sheriff, a police officer, a lawyer, a governmental agent, an FBI agent. You don't have immunity to violate the Constitution. Right? We don't know that. Because that judge works for the corporation. We don't really have government, you know that. We have corporations that act like government, so everything's done under code of law. It just got real for the county when we prevailed against their motion to dismiss, and they would not grant the motion to dismiss to relieve the county of this obligation that was coming down heavy on it. It just got real for them. So they looked at me and they're like, who is this Bonnie woman? Right? Who is she? Well, then they want to inspect their enemy, right? They picked my life apart. They sold my 3 kids to my ex-husband who was a drug user. My kids are still gone today, still working on that nightmare. But mind you, they're draining my kids' trust accounts too. So that's just one of the many plunders that I'm still suffering. But God is so good. God is so mighty, so awesome, and He gives me the power to live on every day, knowing that the victory is mine. No weapon formed against me will prosper. Isaiah 54, verse 17. Many are the afflictions of the righteous, but the Lord will deliver me from them all. So His word gives me strength. His word gives me courage. And, when we do not see answers to prayer, we cannot afford to just give up. We have to just stay on our knees and pray. Because our God is mighty. And He tells us in His word, and He keeps His promises. He's not like men. Men and women will lie to us. God will never lie. And when He says it in His word, you can take that to the bank. So one of the things that I learned through this whole process of everything that I've been through, and mind you, I could keep going. There's more stuff of how they come after me and targeted me for criminal prosecution, manufactured evidence where a judge and a DA are having backdoor meetings about how to manufacture evidence against me and to entrap me and to ensnare me into falling prey to their crimes, that they're laying traps for me. But what does the Bible say about that? That the enemy digs a pit for the righteous and they will fall into it themselves. That's all over Scripture, right? And that's exactly what's happened. I've seen it. I've seen it with my own eyes. I wound up, based on being the target now, because I did win in federal court in 2016, the county paid me the largest jail death claim I think they've ever had to pay. And there's lots of people that die in that jail. But they had to pay me a lot of money because we did things very well in federal court. They won. Got a mediated settlement agreement. I am under non-disclosure. I cannot tell you the amount, but I believe it's one of the highest claims they've ever had to pay. So there was restitution, but it took 3 years to get there. And I had to split it up. I've got 3 brothers, so it's split up amongst 4, and plus we had an attorney to pay. So at the end of the day, you never really get the redress that you want unless you get, in the 7 digits. Is that what it is? 8 digits? Anyway, multiple millions where you can have a lot of redress grievances. But because they come at me again, I wound up suing 13. 5 judges in my county got sued by me. 2 dirty DAs, a dirty sheriff, 13 total. And so all the attorneys in the county know who I am. It's not that I'm a mean person, but they know who has the ability to strike, right? And there's a natural, healthy fear there, where when I walk into the courthouse, it's announced, I get an escort all through the courthouse when I go in now. And now when I go in, because I've studied their law books, God has given me the privilege of searching their law books. And I search old school. I don't just look at the wonderful content online, but I go to the printed word. And I tab it and highlight it old school. I've read these books multiple times. They're 1,100 pages each. I've read it multiple times. And so God's blessed me with the right mind. I'm able to store a lot of that information in my brain. Well, The dirty sheriff was removed from office. The dirty judge who was manufacturing evidence, he was also removed from office. And my God knows how to take care of business. I didn't have to do a thing. I like the walls of Jericho. All you do is just obey. Walk around 7 times and yell, and the walls came tumbling down. So I am here to edify my God who made me. Because he watches not only over me, but you too. And he sees your pain, he sees your suffering. I guess that you wouldn't be here had you not had some storms yourself. But I want to give you hope. Because there is an answer. And you can find, even in their codes.
Alright, we're going to stop there because it makes the video fairly short. Alright, so this is just We the People News. Okay? Bye, y'all.